She was just a teenager waiting outside a store, doing nothing wrong. But to one officer, her skin color was reason enough to suspect her. In minutes, an ordinary afternoon turned into a nightmare. Threats, humiliation, and a danger she never imagined. Yet what the cop didn't know was that this girl wasn't alone, and someone was about to make him regret every word. How far can power go before justice strikes back? It was supposed to be just another Saturday. Maya, a 16-year-old honor student, loved nothing more than grabbing an iced coffee after study sessions at the library. She had plans later: help her mom prep dinner, maybe catch a movie with friends. Life was simple, predictable, safe. At least, that's what she thought. Maya was used to walking through the small suburban plaza without a second glance. Everyone knew her as the polite kid who always smiled at the cashiers, the neighbor who shoveled snow for elderly residents in winter. But that afternoon, the air felt different. Thick, tense, like a storm creeping in unseen. She didn't notice the police cruiser roll into the lot or the officer's eyes following her every move. To Maya, it was just another sunny day, another coffee run. What could possibly go wrong? But some people only see what they want to see. Maya stepped out of the cafe, sipping her drink, her earbuds in. She barely noticed the police cruiser inch closer, engine low and deliberate. But the officer inside noticed everything: her backpack, her skin, the way she walked. To him, nothing about Maya was ordinary. The flash of blue lights made her pause. A voice barked through the window, sharp and cold. "Hey, come here!" Confused, Maya pulled out her earbuds. She'd done nothing wrong. Why was he calling her? "Is this your bag?" the officer demanded, pointing at her own backpack like it was a weapon. "Yes," she said softly, heart thudding. "Open it." People passing by slowed to watch. Some shook their heads, others pulled out phones. Maya's cheeks burned. She wanted to disappear, but the officer's stare pinned her in place. When she hesitated, his voice grew louder. "Now, or I'll do it for you." Maya's hands trembled as she unzipped the bag. Books, a phone charger, a snack. Nothing unusual. But the officer kept digging, tossing her things onto the pavement like trash. "Where'd you get this?" he sneered, holding up her phone. "It's mine," she whispered, her throat dry. "Don't lie to me." The crowd thickened. Whispers swirled. Someone muttered, "She's just a kid." But the officer didn't care. His voice cut through the plaza like a blade. "You think you can steal and just walk away? Not today." Maya's chest tightened. She wanted to cry, to scream, but her feet stayed rooted. Every second felt heavier than the last. And then, another voice, calm, controlled, but laced with steel. "Is there a problem here, officer?" Maya turned. Her mom was standing a few feet away, grocery bag still in hand, eyes locked on the man towering over her daughter. The officer glanced up, smirked, and shook his head. "Just teaching this one a lesson," he said. "You people need to learn respect." The words hit like a slap. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Maya's mom didn't flinch. She set the grocery bag down, stepped closer, and said in a voice that made even the bystanders go silent, "You're making a big mistake." The officer chuckled, folding his arms. "In your dreams. What are you going to do about it?" Maya had no idea what would happen next, but she could see it in her mother's eyes. The storm had arrived, and this man was about to find out who he was really dealing with. The officer stepped closer, his hand resting on his belt, his voice sharp enough to cut through the noise of the plaza. "Step back, ma'am. This doesn't concern you." But Maya's mother didn't move. The calm in her eyes was terrifying, because it wasn't weakness, it was control. "It concerns me when you threaten my child." The officer's smirk widened, mistaking her composure for fear. "Lady, I said step back. Before I make you." Gasps rippled through the crowd. A shaky phone camera zoomed in. Maya's breath caught in her throat. She could feel her pulse in her ears. This is it. This is where things go wrong. Then, without raising her voice, her mother reached into her jacket and pulled out an ID card, Special Forces credentials, gleaming in the afternoon sun. "You have no idea who you're talking to," she said. The plaza froze. Even the officer's smirk faltered. But pride can be blinding. He grabbed for Maya's arm anyway. "That's enough. You're coming with me." In a flash, her mother moved, not with anger, but with precision. One step forward, one hand on his wrist, and the man who thought he owned the moment was suddenly the one off balance. "You're done," she said coldly, locking his arm in place. Phones caught everything, the uniformed officer twisting, face flushed, while a mother defended her daughter with the kind of authority no badge could match. "Let her go," someone shouted from the crowd. Sirens echoed in the distance, other units arriving. Maya's chest heaved. Her mother's grip didn't waver. The officer's voice cracked, desperate now. "Do you know what you're doing? You'll regret this." But Maya could already see the fear in his eyes. For the first time, he realized what was coming next. The distant wail of sirens grew louder. The crowd pressed in closer, and Maya's mother, steady as stone, leaned in and whispered something only he could hear, words that made his face drain. Of color. This wasn't just a confrontation anymore. It was the moment the truth was about to break wide open. By the time additional officers arrived, the scene was undeniable. Phones had recorded everything, the aggressive stop, the baseless accusations, and the moment a mother revealed who she truly was. The officer who once stood so confident now faced his own department, his career, and the weight of public outrage. For Maya, the ordeal was over in minutes, but the scars would last much longer. She went home shaken, clutching her mother's, hand tighter than ever. Even knowing her mom's strength, Maya couldn't shake the question. If this could happen to me, an honor student in broad daylight, what happens to those who can't fight back? News outlets ran the story. Social media lit up with anger and support. The officer was placed under investigation, but the damage was already done. Not just to his badge, but to Maya's sense of safety in her own community. Her mother reminded her that courage isn't about who's stronger or louder. It's about standing up when silence would be easier. And this time, the world was watching. Because this wasn't just about one cop and one teenager. It was about a deeper sickness, about how quickly suspicion can turn to abuse when skin color becomes a target. Maya's story joined thousands of others, each one asking the same painful question. How many times will this have to happen before something changes? We can't pretend it's an isolated event. We can't look away. The next headline could be someone you know, someone you love. So what will we do? Will we keep scrolling, or will we finally speak up?